Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I am talking about stop chasing a specific person and do this instead. Okay, so it's not a good idea to chase someone, right? Especially if it's someone who you've had a bit of a thing for a long time. You don't want to be chasing that person down, right? Because first of all, that comes across quite needy and things like that. So there's an array of different issues that can come across with that, right? Especially if they already know that you like them and they've already rejected you, or perhaps this is an ex that has already dumped you, right? If you already know where you stand with this person, don't chase them, okay? If, for example, it's someone who you've not asked out yet, if it's someone who doesn't know how you feel, then the best thing for you to do with that kind of situation, with that kind of person, is to just bite the bullet and ask them out. Just say, hey, and this may be a bit random, but I think you're really cute. When are you available to hang out? I'd love to take you out on a date. That's all you have to say, right? And if they reject you, you just say, something like, okay, well, that's fine. Just take it as a compliment. And if they do say, oh, yeah, I'm free Saturday, then you say, okay, great. I know this great pizza place or whatever. And how about we meet at this time at this place on Saturday, right? And then you arrange the date and then you have a date, right? But so you kind of have to do a little bit of chasing if this person doesn't know, for example, that you like them. So you may need to ask them out, lay your cards on the table and say, this is how I feel. I think you're really cute. When are you available? When are you available to hang out? Right, so you kind of have to do that a little bit. But again, this is like minimal action. Like, it's not a lot. It's not like you are having to text them every single day and things like that, or you're trying to woo them in some other kind of way, like you're sending them flowers and stuff. You don't need to do any of that crap, right? You can only the best time to do like chasing in that kind of way, where you're giving gifts and stuff, is when you're in a relationship. Never give gifts before you get into a relationship, okay? So what should you do then instead of chasing this person, right? So what you should really be doing is you should really be focusing on you, your own life, and what you're trying to achieve in this lifetime, and creating an awesome life for yourself. That should be your main focus, right? That should be the thing that you're prioritizing, right? Because if you are someone who has love and their relationships at the top, right? Of course you're going to get needy. Of course you're going to get insecure when it comes to someone who you really like and stuff like that, and trying to get that specific person. Because if they're at the top of your list and romance is at the top of your list, then it's no wonder that you may come across as needy or desperate and things like that. So what you really want to do is, for a while, just focus on yourself and put dating and relationships and romance, somewhere lower down on the list. Something that you do as more like a hobby or like a pastime, as opposed to letting it just take up and consume your whole life. Most of your life should be consumed with what you're trying to achieve in this life, what you're trying to create for yourself, the life that you're trying to create for yourself, you see, okay? So one of the interesting things that I've learned is that romance usually works itself out anyway when you become less focused on it, when it's not your main priority anymore. I remember when I was single and I had a time where I was like really desperate to like find a girlfriend and find a date. And during that time I had a really dry spell, which was so annoying. And what I mean by dry spell is that I had no dates. I was on like dating apps and I just couldn't find anyone to date. I wasn't getting any matches, and at that time I was feeling like super desperate. So I had a dry spell when it came to dating. I wasn't having anyone. But when I started to focus on other things, and I had other projects that I was doing and I was working and things like that, that's when I started to get more matches, because I wasn't so focused on it. I wasn't so laser focused on, oh, I need to find a girlfriend. I wasn't so desperate, right? And I was in one of those kinds of times when I actually met my wife. I wasn't so attached to finding a girlfriend. I just wanted to see where things go. I was more focused on what I was doing, doing my work and things like that. So it's kind of weird how that kind of works out, right? Sometimes it seems like when you're really desperate for something, it's almost like the universe kind of like holds it back from you and waits for you to get into a more relaxed state, and then it brings it more to you. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a benefit, because when you're feeling desperate and you really want something, anything, right? Because you're so focused on it, I feel like sometimes you can make emotional mistakes. So in terms of dating, for example, if you're really desperate for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, when you go out on a date with someone who kind of just matches your criteria, who you find, really attractive, you're more likely to cling on to them and get really desperate and needy with them, which of course will drive them away, right? Whereas if you're more relaxed about it and you're kind of not too attached to the outcome, you usually do better on those dates, and you can usually keep those people more in your life, and you have more success with those people because you're not as attached. You're making less emotional mistakes, basically. You're not as needy, right? So that also gives them the opportunity to grow feelings for you because you're not always in their face, right? And sometimes you got to really realize that people fall in love at different rates. For me, I'm someone who falls in love really fast. Right, when I first met my wife, I was like totally into her, 100%. I was ready to be her girlfriend straight away because I thought she was really cute and I just really liked her. And my emotions were instantly engaged in that way. Whereas there are a lot of people out there, like my wife, who fall in love a lot slower. They need time to warm up to you, especially if they're shy, right, as well. So that's something else to consider as well. But you got to realize that, hey, you know what, I may be someone who falls in love really fast, and the person that I'm on a date with may not be one of those kinds of people, so I need to go at their pace, right? And I've always found when I have really liked people in the past, when I've really liked women in the past that I've dated, I knew that I was the one that was falling in love faster. It was always pretty much 100% of the time I was the one that was totally into them straight away, right? So I knew that I had to always go at their pace, okay? There was a few occasions when I did actually go on dates where I felt like they were falling for me pretty fast, but that was always kind of situations where I wasn't actually even into them. So it's kind of like a weird backwards thing in that kind of way. It seemed like the girls that I really liked always took a lot slower to fall in love with me, whereas the girls that I didn't like, they fell in love with me super fast, and it was really annoying, right? So, but anyway, that's the experience that I had with that. So another thing then is, you got to make sure that if romance isn't your priority, so this is the important thing here, if romance and dating is not your priority, and it's sort of like lower down on your list, it's sort of something that you do occasionally on a weekend, you go out on a date, to meet someone, to get to know them. If you have this more relaxed mindset, right, you're more likely to make less emotional mistakes, right? And also, you come across better as well because you're more relaxed, you're in a better frame of mind. So therefore, you actually look more attractive, right? Because it's very unattractive when you come across someone who you go on a date with and they're instantly into you and they're instantly incredibly needy and things like that, right? But when you are less attached, you actually become more attractive, right? Because you're more relaxed, it opens the window for them to pursue you. And it makes you look a bit more mysterious as well, because maybe they're someone who's extremely beautiful, good looking, and when they go out on a date with people, their usual response is that person's always in love with them or it gets needy super fast, right? So when they go out on a date with someone like you, who's more relaxed, right, about it, they start to become more attractive because like, oh, no one ever treats me like this before. This person's actually treating me like a human being instead of their knight in shining armor or a perfect princess, right, or a celebrity. They're not treating me like that. They're treating me like a normal human being, and that's really attractive to me because that's basically all I've ever wanted, right? And that's important to know. People don't want to be treated like they're like this amazing thing, right? They want to be treated like a human being. They want someone who they can laugh with, who they can be on the same level with, and things like that, and to have a great connection with. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to have an authentic connection with someone when they're totally 100% into you and treating you like a celebrity. It's very difficult to be able to have that kind of connection with them when that's happening, right? So what you got to focus then on is becoming an awesome person, and by what I mean by that is you got to be happy with your life. You got to be content with the way things are going. Even if you're not 100% happy with your current circumstance, you should at least be happy with the path that you're on, right? And that's something I say all the time, because a lot of people aren't content with their lives. They wish that they had more money, or they wish that they were fitter. They wish they were living in a different area, right? So what you got to realize is you got to, okay, what do I need to change? What are the things that I need to focus on, right? What are the things that I need to do to make my life better for myself? And then you focus on that and you try to work towards that and try to create that life for yourself and keep that as your main priority. See? And then you'll feel amazing, right? And when you are feeling like, okay, my dreams are coming true, or I'm at least trying to make my dreams come true, you'll attract more interesting people into your life. Okay, it seems like that's the way that the universe kind of works, right? If you're unhappy, you seem to attract unhappy people, right? And when you are happy, and when you're, really focusing on the things that you're really passionate about, that's when you start to meet more interesting people. So not only will you get more interesting friends, but you'll probably get more interesting dates as well, and people that are more aligned with what you truly want in this life. Okay, because I remember there was a time when I felt like a total loser, right? And it seemed to me that I just kept on attracting friends that were also kind of like total losers, but like in a way that was not going to be really good for me, right? Because it seemed like I was attracting people that were probably even worse off than what I was. I remember a time like I went and hanged out with some friends who I only hanged out with once, because I realized, you know what, I do not want to be around these people anymore. And they were just drinking so much, and they all smoked, and yeah, it just wasn't great. Like, I was like, oh my god, if I keep on hanging around these people, I'm going to become one of these people. And I was like, I don't want that, right? I really don't want that at all. I want more for myself than this. And so I stopped hanging out with that friendship group, and I no longer wanted to see them or hang out with them or be around them or anything, because I was like, I cannot hang out with these people. They're going to bring me down to their level, and I'm going to be one of these, so it's like, I can't do that for myself. And sometimes you can do that, sometimes you can really attract some bad people into your life, whether they're friends or whether they're dates, because you're at low vibration, and maybe you have a view of yourself that isn't great, right? So that's something else to consider as well. You become who you spend your time with. So you got to make sure that you're spending your time with high quality people that you want to be like. So the best way to know, basically, if you found a good date or if you found a good friend, is if they are either someone who you are like, so someone who has the same values as you or something like that, or they're someone who you would like to be like, right? So someone who you would like to be, right? So let's say you meet someone who's like super into health and fitness, and you also want to be super into health and fitness, then that's a good role model for you, okay? So that's something to consider as well. So instead of chasing a specific person, focus on this instead, and that is focusing on yourself, creating a better life for yourself, and everything else will work out in its own way. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.